here inside of the Citadel. Citadel! 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 Prepare yourselves. It's time to get to the Citadel. City that was once quiet is now about to be heard by crowds of delight, because the day has now come upon us to roll back to life with speed and loss. There's no going back from here, 'cause we've chosen this life to be clear. Freedom or shackles for just a little while, and we will battle it all out for miles. Send in your best men, send in your best friends, send in your best gym, 'cause we are at it again. We've come to race, we came.
Well, the Tricky Triangle certainly has no friends around here when it plays nice, even when it plays nice. And today, the Citadel Racing League is about to find that out the hard way. Here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Citadel Next Gens here on Speed Zone TV. Hi, everyone. I am the Dead Man with a hot mic in hand. My name is Christian Schreiber here, and today we're joined in with 12 of the heaviest hitters ready to take on the big 2-mile long Tricky Triangle itself here today. 2.5 miles long, I should say. And let's take a look at our starting lineup to figure out just who will be able to take it down. Car number 1 in Malcolm Burnaby will be on the pole. The outside number 33 is Samuel Mitchell. And row number 2 is the 34, the bounty hunter, Sean Bounty, making his grand entrance and return. And outside of him in the 18 is Christopher Cassad. Row number 3 in the 14 is Gabe Chavez. The outside, and that number 15 is going to be John the Shoemaker. Row number 4, the 4 is Breeze Kelva. The outside, the number 12 is going to be Joshua Hayes. Row number 5 is the 84, Luke Dietz. The outside, number 3 is Austin Stein. And finally, at row number 6 will be the 17 and Nicholas Schreiber. The outside, that is the 71 of Tyler Creech. That is your starting lineup for today here as we are about to set on a journey for 80 laps to the distance here. Take a look at our track Tech Talk map presented by Lightning Wraps. 2.5 miles in length here. 3 different styles of configuration. Turn number 1 configured to be like Trenton Speedway. Turn number 2 is literally those tunnel turns of Indianapolis Motor Speedway and their cornering. And then finally in turn number 3, that is the Milwaukee Mile corner. That is going to be where all 3 of these drivers have to figure out how to try to nail down in the circuit with the weather and temps holding up pretty okay for Pennsylvania weather here this time of the year. It certainly is going to put a lot of them to their absolute limit and to their absolute brink. So be sure to watch for the drivers in certain areas getting faster than the other and trying to maneuver and manually handle this way around the track as we bring them down out the distance on the front straightaway here, looking to set them down to the green. Malcolm Burnaby will lead us through and into the green flag. We charge 80 laps to the distance. Here we go. Whoa, hold on down there. Trouble out of the gate. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. There's major trouble down. 3 or 4 cars involved in this one here. Yellow out on the track. Yellow, yellow, yellow. A good bunch of them there getting clipped up in that wreck there. We're going to the Speed Zone TV replay brought to you by the Dead Man's Hit List. See what happened here. Looks like, yep, at 12, Hayes getting a little too hard into the throttle there, slamming up into the number 3. And then Hayes and Dietz also making contact there as well. Not a whole lot of area to go, not a whole lot of room to get out of there, unfortunately. And causing a massive situation there right on the very first corner, the very first lap. Again, there's a lot of banking in that turn 1, so a lot of drivers are going to be carrying a lot of speed into it. The only downside, though, is when you kind of overdrive at the slightest bit, you have a habit of kind of catching it off guard there. Looks like even Kelva did kind of come down a little bit, and Hayes probably wasn't expecting it. Looks like Nicholas Schreier was the one that kind of finished off the number 12 there in that situation here. Well, he's able to at least pull it into the infield here and get it into pit road, try to get that thing fixed up while he's got a chance. Austin Steen as well, same situation, and looks like Kelva gets into pit road now as well, so that will kind of set us down to our drivers here. We'll have a quick little chat with them and see how they're holding up down on the surface here. Got to be a lot, I got to believe, coming from their minds here. Let's take a listen down here with the driver on the number 18 here, Christopher Cassad. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Not bad. How about yourself?
Not too shabby here, and obviously, you know, coming off what you had last time out on the track here, I got to believe definitely ready to kind of pull some strings and try to pull some speeds around here with the tricky triangle, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to do my best to try and stay up here near the front for the whole race. Make sure I keep hitting my marks and everything like that.
Definitely there indeed. Now, I got to ask you, I talked about it just a second ago. Obviously, there are 3 different configurations in the turn. You know, but out of the 3 turns, which of the 2 do you think is the 2 you work best with, or is there one you can just nail that no one else really seemed can figure out for you in your case?
To be perfectly honest, I feel like turn 1 I'm okay with. The other ones I'm still working with.
Fair enough there. Well, nevertheless, Christopher, obviously, it's still a long road ahead of you. We do wish you the best of luck as you get ready to fire back down to the green.
Sounds good. You have a good one too, sir.
You too. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Cassad having a quick little chat with us down there. Always good to hear from him. We'll head down there now and chat with the bounty hunter himself, Sean Bounty. And Sean, good to see you back now on the track here. Obviously, we missed you out last time out on the surface here. Now really ready to come back down onto the track and try to show your dominance once more. I mean, talk me through, though, what is it going to take to try to be able to take down this tricky triangle?
That's a good question. A lot of patience. It's been years since I've been here, but yeah, just not overdriving the corner and running straight into the wall on exit. That'll be the first challenge, and then trying to figure out the best passing techniques if we can. But yeah, I don't really have too much for notes for this track at the moment. I think I'm just going to try to keep the car under control. See if Malcolm may or may not make a mistake and just try to capitalize on that if I can.
Definitely indeed. Now, obviously, I know I kind of just chatted with Cassad about this too here, but obviously, you know, we kind of alluded to the fact there are 3 different kind of corners, types, and tracks around here. I mean, for you and your crew, though, I got to believe that you would be more kind of better suited with the high banks there of turn 1 and maybe kind of the tunnel turn there on turn number 2. But I got to ask you, kind of where do you think that you can remember off the top of your head that you usually can run pretty good there when whatever car you're running with?
I don't mind any of the corners. Usually the tunnel turn is often where I pick up most of my pace. These bigger, wide, flat, sweeping corners, not usually my specialty. This turn 1's like a slightly flatter Michigan. You're going into it flat out, and your lateral slide all the way through the corner. But the tire fall off isn't too bad here either. We can run a full set, and you don't feel too much. But yeah, I think tunnel turn's nice. But if you tuck yourself up behind somebody right before you make your turn in, you could get real tight and end up in real trouble real quick. So we're just going to take it easy and just finish the day.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, obviously, we're about ready to fire him back up to the green here. Sean, we do appreciate you taking some time to chat with us here. Best of luck, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bounty Hunter, Sean Bounty, having a quick little chat with us down there, race fans, as we are now about to set these drivers back into their rhythm and back into their pace. Malcolm Burnaby going to lead them down through the first set. Samuel Mitchell going to be up on his outside lane, Bounty behind. And Cassad looking to get to him quickly as well. Citadel Racing TV has joined in the chat, says, yo, Citadel, good to see you as well here. Time to see what brings to the table here from these drivers here as they line them back up into the restart zone here. The Citadel restart zone has set them back down, and it is the Baldur's Gate 1 who takes his jump and gets back into his race lead. Now we'll have to see how the drivers kind of maintain and control their distances here going into the turn. Got to kind of be careful about how hard you run it in just like that. There you see Hayes again in turn number 1. This time able to get himself separated out and away from trouble. But that is just another troublesome situation he found himself in. Almost got himself into a nasty little dilemma there, but able to recover nicely. Meanwhile, Burnaby up front, getting further away. Bounty looking to try to recover as he's now trying to build speed back on him to try to get into this lane, but watch for Mitchell. Samuel Mitchell, number 33, trying to put the 8-bit racing crew in back the top lines. As they hustle through the Milwaukee Mile corners, now everybody is in jockeying for position. This is where things get interesting here, because now you as a driver have to figure out where is kind of the best rhythm, the best lane to use up and to be able to take full control of when you can, because it just kind of runs these kind of momentum. You got to go full center of gravity, full speed ahead, and then only have to back off so much when you're entering in to this very winding turn number 2 here that will kind of catch you off guard if you're not careful. Slight downshift there from Jonathan Shoemaker here. Kind of shows you just how hard they are climbing through these corners and into those turns. Running him down to the front straightaway here, the Bounty Hunter, keeping his distance, trying to keep his grip and his grasp. It seems like more than anything to me, it seems like he's really trying to kind of find that little angle, that little extra oomph, if you will, to kind of drive this thing harder into the ground. But turn 1, you heard him say a second ago, it's a bit of a lateral thinking versus timing and execution. It's very difficult to nail those things at one time and in one place. Well, they're certainly doing everything they can with it right now. So it looks like for Malcolm, looks like he only shifts down into 4th when he's heading in for turn 2 and 3. So that seems to be his kind of go-to. And I think, honestly, that's kind of what's keeping him well and truly ahead here. But Bounty, again, not out of this yet. He's climbing up back into the field, trying to climb back up into this drive. But turn 1 seems to be biting Bounty. Yeah, he lost a little bit of speed there, exiting off that corner there. Kind of could catch it as he was running it down. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the car is just basically sliding up in and around a little bit more than usual. This isn't usually going to be the most crazy of races here or most spectacular passing opportunities. This track obviously was more pronounced and built for the Indy cars way, way back in the day. That was really its true intention. It was Dr. Mattioli that helped create and fund this circuit with the help of investors and create a track so unique and so divisively intriguing. And yet here today it is now called one of, if not maybe the most brutal tracks to have to figure out how to master, but also one of the toughest to win on. It's what I like to call kind of one of those endurance tracks. So those tracks that will force you to have to either play it right, play it smart, or you'll end up having to basically just kind of catch yourself in this kind of land of a genjutsu where you don't even know where you're at or what's going on until it's too little too late. The longer this one goes too, those tires, in my opinion, are going to wear up a bit. They're going to get a lot harder to kind of hang in there and take care of. Fuel going to be a very big strategy call too. Again, there's going to be a lot of factors these drivers are having to really on the fly figure out, have to take full center aim at. Again, it's not just, you know, how you handle the track, how you make your turns, if you could stay within reason and not try to overdrive it. No, there's a lot more that goes on. There's guys like trying to figure out whether or not it's better to shift in, whether it's to shift out, whether you got to hold the lane in a certain way. Like, it's a lot of work. And you can see right there, even just with that little shift there, got the car a little bit off guard. Oh, and just sat right into the wall protection on turn number 2. Well, Casad had a little bit of speed building up there, but unfortunately lost all of it to Samuel Mitchell as he came down off that lanes there. We are 1/8 of the way done in this one. Joshua Hayes right now, still mechanical problems down there, number 12. He's entering in pit road, trying to get that fixed up here. Taking a look on the back stack right now. Looks like some newcomers to the show here. Driver number 3, Austin Steen. Coming down here. Try and see what he can bring to the table here. And at this moment, maybe not on the same level of speed and pace as the other drivers, but could be playing a different kind of strategy car, different kind of role here. So you got to watch out for those that seem a little bit off-putting, maybe a little slower at first, but that's just because they're playing kind of a mind game on them, just kind of giving themselves a false sense of hope, false sense of reliance. John Shoemaker surely knows a thing about that or two. He's been kind of clever and crafty as much as he has been kind of interesting to deal with on the microphone side of my end here when he decides to come up in the booth with me. Nicholas Shriver here, another driver, honestly, that, in my opinion, probably one of the more better kept minded levels that he has brought on. All he's really done is just basically said, hey, I'm going to back down and back off until it's time to go for the runs. And it looks like there's trouble down there for Luke Dietz here. We'll have to go to the replay and figure out what happened there. And it looks like whatever happened here, it started in turn number 2. Oh, yeah, right here. Yeah, he just overdrove it there. And then watch out. Oh, my. Oh. Oh, it's like I said, Pocono can be a brutal track when it feels like it. And the brutality has been engaged. And no, I am not talking about Rhea Ripley in this case. Very tough hit there and a very bad spot there for Dietz. He'll have to try to get that thing fixed up and get it back on the track. He certainly will do everything he can to do that. As you see the caution coming out on the track here, race fans here, we're going to have to take a quick look at that here as Christopher Sad having a little bit of a bad timing down there, unfortunately. I think my microphone might have been disconnected there for a second. I do apologize in advance there. Had a little bit of troubles on my end here. Let's take a look and see what the heck happened here as we're going on to Casad now. Yeah, it looks like turn number 1, catching the 18 off guard. Looks like he just kind of overdrove it. He saw him going up a little higher there and kind of already wobbling. And then right here, he just pretty much kind of caught the rest of it off, and that was all she wrote. Pretty much finishing him out right there. So not exactly the best position there for them and their team, obviously, but it is what it is. Now let's take it down here and chat with the driver of the number 15 here, Jonathan Shoemaker. Jonathan, I mean, man, certainly a lot of things going kind of quite awry around here. I mean, what's kind of been playing through your mind right now as you now see things kind of going this way?
Well, really, Chris, I'm just trying to keep the car safe at the end of the day, you know, trying to do the best I can. You know, getting around here and avoiding anybody of these other guys' shenanigans. Like I said, just trying to keep the car safe and score some points for Team Rebel Racing at the end of the day.
For sure there. Now, obviously, with this pit strategy here, going to be very crucial here. I assume he's going to be taking some fuel and taking some tires to help kind of get this thing riled up for a little bit more of a hard run ahead.
Yeah, taking all 4 and grabbing some fuel, you know. Don't know if we're going to see any more cautions throughout the rest of this race. So just trying to take it as I can get them, you know.
Definitely there. Well, nevertheless, Jonathan, we do appreciate you coming back on around, brother. Good luck as you get ready to fight him out again.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
Jonathan Shoemaker, race fans, having a quick little chat with us there. Probably shouldn't have pulled him in there when he was going into pit road. That is my fault there. Doesn't look like he's having too much trouble down there. Looks like just getting everything all squared up now. Finally, there he goes. We'll take it down now and chat real quick with the driver of the number 14 here, Gabe Chavez. Gabe, you got a copy down there?
Yep, I got you.
All right, well, Gabe, it's good to hear from you again. Good to see you once more. And obviously, now he got himself a little bit of an opportunity here to try to make up for some lost ground time he had the last 2 races here, going up against Malcolm and Samuel here, and even with Bounty right beside you. I mean, I got to believe the nerves are kind of staying within your own reach and your own realm to kind of take a shot here to get to the top spot, huh?
Yeah, I'm liking the opportunity that's here. With Sean and Malcolm and some of these guys in the race this week, it's going to be really tough. But I'm just going to do my best to stick with them and learn what I can from behind and apply it as soon as possible to try and stay with them.
For sure there. Now, obviously, I know they're quite a bit, you know, leaning into this track. Obviously, it kind of catches a few folks off guard, kind of catches some others maybe in the worst of wear positions. But for you and your team, like, kind of where do you think you kind of have your best strengths at? Where is kind of your best lanes you're kind of working towards?
It's tough. This has been a tough track. I've been trying to practice it more, but I mean, even qualifying as high as I did, I was pretty surprised about that. But what I think is that a lot of opportunity comes out of turn 3 and turn 1. I noticed that I was pretty decent around turn 1 and able to make up ground there. So I'm going to try and sort of lean into that and hope I can make some moves.
For sure there. Well, RSK, we do appreciate you coming on by here. Best of luck as you get ready to go back at him once again.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Gabe Chavez, ladies and gentlemen. Field getting ready to battle it down and fight it up once more here as everyone now sets the pace and sets in motion. Field down out of the track here. Restart up and running. And here we go again. And Malcolm immediately taking a run there deep to the inside, trying to get back out of Mitchell there, trying to take their lane away. And the Bounty Hunter also looking at that run too. Saw what he can build up with there. Going toward the inside lane here. Samuel Mitchell tries to hold him back down and tries to keep things well within reason. Gotta put this thing into the ground and into the line of light. Gabe Chavez seeing an opportunity too if he can kind of get things back on the draft line. This is where the draft becomes so critical, so crucial. You need every bit and ounce of speed and power to make good use of this and make it work when you're in this kind of tempo, in this kind of scenario. Bounty well aware of that right now as he continues to try to keep the number one right in his line of sight. His position to fire off if he has to. Working through the corners and down through the lanes here. Malcolm Burnaby with a good, solid lead right now here with 1/4 of the way done in this race completed. Kind of surprised, honestly, he's driving up so much higher there than usually I would see some drivers kind of run towards that bottom lane there. Maybe if anything here, he's just trying to keep things well within his own reasonable accommodations. Luke Diaz currently and Joshua Hayes, the only two drivers on a lap down marker. Diaz down 1 lap, Hayes quite a few. Tyler Creech was scratched from this race here, could not make it. And it seems like more than anything now, everyone's just kind of trying to get a bit of a leg up, a little bit of a drive-off zone to get back into this. It gets so weird to me again because usually you see a lot of drivers when they're running the Milwaukee Mile run it towards the very, very bottom end of the track. A lot of drivers, though, in this one going much higher than the rest usually would. I kind of wonder, is that really kind of based around a strategy point? Is that kind of like an idea to really keep the car more high center of gravity, kind of keep it up on the upper echelons of the run? Reese Kelva trying to find an opening there with Nicholas kind of getting a little bit loosey-goosey and a little bit hard on his edge there. Car did look like it may have tightened up a bit too on him, giving him less grip and zone to work with as we push them down to the ranks and down to the ends. We have got ourselves a battle arising to the top of the mountain. Bounty and Burnaby have been to war with one another once before. Will we see it happen again? I certainly think we will be getting a bit glimpse of it. Bounty knows he's nearly halfway done with this one, and he is still looking to try and make anything he can of this race in his position. Trying to find that tempo, trying to find that pacing here. A lot going down, a lot at stake. He knows where he's at. He knows what he's up to. But Burnaby, again, probably not caring too much. Probably just trying to focus more on his line and his run. Bounty will try his best to make the pass when he has to, but he will not hesitate to stay right behind somebody and basically keep them within his own reach and his own drive. Samuel Mitchell right now just looking on, maybe either just kind of plotting out a plan or kind of plotting out some strategy here. Not sure how this one will fare for him or what he'll kind of pull up into this, but at the moment, seems like kind of keeping things well within reason or within reach. The one thing I'm kind of wondering too was how will those straights handle for a lot of these drivers? How would they kind of force some to make moves versus the others? And can that dirty airflow from Burnaby help kind of slow down Bounty entering into the turns or into their runs there? There's two major long runs I got to worry about. It's that front straightaway entering in through turn number 1, and then that big long backside that will basically go down into the tunnel turn of turn 2. Well, Bounty and Burnaby not giving an inch to the other. Meanwhile, in the mid-pack madness set, you've got 3 cars looking to try to outdo the other. Cassad, Kelva, and Shriver. It seemed like earlier, the way Cassad talked, sounded like he really didn't think turn 1 was going to give him all that much trouble. He tried and figured out whatever he could in that Wounded Warriors Project 18. As he shoots for the inside there, couldn't find a run there entering the Indy corner. I gotta believe he honestly didn't want to try to take Helva out, so he backed off there. Pretty smart thinking there and good sportsman-like racing mindset on him. You can see how far Kelva went down there. That was what I was talking about earlier. You saw how close he was to that yellow line. That was where I usually would have thought drivers would be kind of playing around at. But maybe in my case, maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe they're trying to save tires so they didn't want to burn them up too quick and hard there. Sag gonna look for another runoff down the straightaway here. And again, these slingshot passes are a lot harder to get because the fact remains the car itself is kind of more suited, if you will, to more of a kind of a technical turning, kind of a more keep it close and keep it injected mentality. Usually this car on the intermediate tracks certainly has a way of putting drivers to their ultimate test. But it doesn't seem like right now anyway that there's much give or grip from anybody up to the front. And right now back up there with Burnaby and Bounty, and again you can see Bounty still trying desperately to cling on to any kind of little opening shot he can get at him. You can see he's getting time on him, he's getting a lot of ground on him, but the thing is he's just not building up that big ultimate run to make that pass. Even Mitchell has got a little bit back on Bounty here and there. Not by much, but enough at least to say, hey, he's catching up in this case. So he does have speed down there. That's the big question is, will he be able to keep that going? Both drivers that time not able to get anything on Burnaby. Malcolm doing everything he can to keep Sean at bay here. But again, it's such a long run race. Timing, everything, execution, crucial. Focus and determination, a huge must here. And right now, up on the back half, there it goes Kelva and Cassad. Man, I'll give credit where credit's due. Reese definitely does not want to let up, but wants to try to fight it out hard as he can there with Cassad. Nicholas Shriver moving up from into the front spot here again. Top 5 spot for him. He qualified 11th. He's in 5th. And again, he's just doing the same thing he's always done, which is, again, just lays low, waits his time, kind of almost biding his time, and it just works. Honestly, it just works. And I think that's something, I think that a lot of folks just take for granted so badly, and they don't really think too much about it. Cassad looking for another run to the inside. Trying to get down there. Kelva, slight back off. Backs it down again. Man, Cassad right now absolutely got to be infuriated for how close he's putting this thing right in the inside of Kelva's bumpers and just can't get around the inside fenders or in his lane he needs. He's still going to try, though. He's not going to give up. I mean, he's obviously going to do whatever he can here. But unless he can find an anchor to stop that forward end of the turns, I don't think he's going to really have very many openings to make passes here. He's basically just going to have to hope that Kelva wears and tears this stuff up. Looks like Shriver, though, did tear up a little bit. Slowed it back down a bit and thrown it down on the inside. And he's going to give 2 spots up. What has gone down with Nicholas? I don't know if he just kind of miscalculated turn number 3 or if he just feels like he's overdriving and wants to kind of get away from that pack there and let them get their own fights out of the way or whatnot. Either way, I don't know that was necessarily the best strategy there for Nicholas. Luke Diaz, they're getting back into pit road, took tires and fuel again here. Looks like he's just trying at this point to kind of keep things within his own reach. But at the same time, that 84 has not had the best of days here, the best of time. Got into a nasty wreck earlier on, then basically slammed the inside wall there here on the corner end of the track. Took a nice little ding there with him. And Josh Hayes, man, he's just been having a terrible, terrible little run out here in the last couple races. Luck's just not been on the side of the number 12, and he's desperately trying to change that and fix that as much as he can here. Luke Dietz here now, fired up on the inside. Gonna let Hayes on by, doesn't want to fight him, or will he fight him? He backed out, he knew better. He's like, no, I'm not gonna try and play that one up with him. He knew he's already been in trouble with him before. Says I'll just let him through and I'll deal with him later. Burnaby yet again still leading out most of the laps so far today. Just to give you an idea how many laps he's led. He's ran 32 of them in the lead. So for only 2 laps did he not have the race lead in his hands. I believe Mitchell got 1 of them at least. Take it down through the set here and through the corners. And now Nicholas Shriver trying to get some speed back built up here to get up to Cassad and them. Pretty crazy and wild to me how much some of these drivers are just trying to get all that push and all that drive off. But again, the fact that they have to clutch in and clutch out to shift in and down, I gotta believe that's really hurting a lot of these guys and really just kind of making them have to figure out on the fly like what is possible and what is not. But it just isn't giving them any opportunities to make mistakes or any chances to really get some openings for when they need it most. Oh, mass slam there right off turn number 2. Nicholas Shriver just jamming that wall protection on turn number 2 there. The Indy turn, catching Nicholas off guard. And I don't know if that maybe was just overcompensating for the turn and not shifting down quick enough. Either way, you see how low he rolls it off turn number 3 after hitting that thing down into the ground. And it seems like Shoemaker right now absolutely trying to bolster the momentum back in his favor and back in his run. Austin Steen coming to a stop here on the front straightaway here. What's going down with Steen? What has happened to the number 3 here? We're going to have to take a look at this. Just parks it right in the front of the track here. Yeah, it just came right off and basically put it right in front here of the fans here. I guess why was that? I guess he pulls a Josh Williams down there and just got that thing out of the car and he was out. Yeah, he is done for the day. Austin Steen calling it a day. And I don't know, that's just because he just felt like the car couldn't run anymore and be at a top level or whatnot. But either way, he is done. He is out of this one. Sean, the bounty hunter bounty, going to go into pit road now. And honestly, I think this is probably a wise strategy. Take tires and fuel. Let Burnaby kind of do his own thing and stay focused on his run. Although that right there is not a good stop there. Major problem implication there for Bounty. Pit stop not going exactly the way he needed to. Does take all his fuel and tires though, so that may give him a little bit of an opening here to work with. And now back onto the berm here. Finally, we got our battle between Cassad and Kelva. Cassad switching the lane up. He goes to the outside there in turn number 2. Now seeing if he can try to get something going into turn 3. Doesn't look like it yet. Kelva able to recoil and recover his lane. Time now elapsing. Momentum swinging away. It's just not a whole lot of time to run these guys have left that they can do here. Again, they're trying so desperately to keep things well within their own reason, their own reach. And Chavez now, he goes into pit road. Gonna see what that millipede number 14 has left in store for us here. I'm wondering when Burnaby will decide to end up into pit road. At the moment, though, he's been pretty much gaslighting and holding this thing down into the ground as long as he could. In this series so far, only 2 drivers have won out on the surface. Chavez got the win last time out. Boundy with the win, 4 wins to be exact, throughout the season. He's been one tough animal and one tough cookie to crumble. But again, if you know how to find the sweet spot, you can break it in 2. And Boundy right now is trying desperately not to let anybody get an idea of what that is. But Burnaby right now, honestly, this being his kind of first golden opportunity, in my opinion, to really take a stake, take a claim, and throw it into the heart of drivers like that 34. I know he wants desperately to finally get to victory lane a few weeks ago. Felt like he felt like he should have been there already. Reese Kelva in pit road right now. Looks like he's going to get himself tires and fuel as well. Nicholas Shriver out of pit side as well right there. So looks like a lot of them going into pit road very early. into this halfway run, in my opinion. Cassad, Mitchell, and Burnaby still yet to go into pit road on the longer stint. Well, it's kind of crazy to me is that a lot of drivers went on lap 17, and only and now a few of them going in on lap 37 or 39 to 40. To me, that smells of a strategy call being made up here. I think it's a smart play and a good strategy, but again, you got to stay in your lane, stay focused, keep yourself in the moment, and don't let up in this case. Just have to see when Burnaby decides to take it down into pit road. This is going to be a big strategy call for him. Still time on their clock and still time on the efforts right now. Everybody just trying to kind of pitch together and figure out what the kind of lanes, what kind of drive they need to do to keep things in their own lane, their own stuff. Kind of surprised how many drivers are just kind of picketing their time, picking their lane and their shot here. When you consider just how far in depth and everything that everybody's kind of been picking into the track right now. Kelva, Shriver, Dietz, all down a lap down. Hayes still, at this point, just trying to recover any kind of lost time he can get. Steen out of the race. Creech out of the race here. Dietz still in this one here. Burnaby, there he goes. I was kind of wondering when he was going to go into pit road. He's decided to go into pit road now, so now it's going to be a very crucial strategy call here. And Mitchell Cassad going to follow right behind, so Shoemaker going to have a chance here to try to catch up to him. It looks like even he is going to put this thing into pit road here. See tires going on there. Looks like fuel going on as well. Get a good look at everybody else coming in down from there. Burnaby going to ride back on out. He's going to try to hurry up and hopefully get ahead before Bounty gets to him here. Didn't have enough time there, or does he? Bounty right up on the outside. Burnaby and him battling off. Hayes right in the way there and in the position now. It is a drag race to see who can outsmart the other, but it looks like Bounty, with that pit call strategy earlier, outsmarting Malcolm. But keep this in mind. There's a lot more fresher tires on Malcolm than there is Bounty. That can play a factor. Now it's time to see what happens here. Bounty did everything right on that one to get up to him and then quickly get by him. But again, how much of the tires and speed did he wear up doing that just to get to it? Malcolm looking for a runoff there, trying to get back under Bounty's skin here. But Bounty almost literally just kind of keeping things well within his own reason, his own reach. Up on the outside, though, turn 3. That's what I was wondering about. There's the move. There's the run. Oh, Bounty, you just can't give openings like that on those kind of tires, my friend. And it looks like we are now seeing what fresher sets of tires can do here. Burnaby finally got himself a shot. And now he is making his way through, trying to hold Bounty down. And you can see just right there from that little camera angle how far he was trying to throw Bounty for a loop. He didn't run it to the extreme outside where the wall is. He ran it a little bit further down, trying to get Bounty off his tail. That is some crucial racing right there from Burnaby. The strategy was smart. The call wasn't perfect. And I think that's exactly what he needed to do. Try to make this thing work. Looks like Josh Hayes, though, that might have been a penalty going into pit road. You saw him slam that tire out, trying to get that thing to come to a stop there. I mean, it's as if things could get worse for him. He somehow is finding a way to get more worse for him. The field has now spread themselves thin and kind of now just dealing their own strategy, kind of trying not to let this one wear on their thoughts or on their process. Jonathan Shoemaker here still trying to get back up to Nicholas Shriver after a little bit of a kind of a head scratcher for Shriver earlier. He ends up finally starting to kind of dial things back up here. Nicholas needs to start really maintaining some grip and some distance, though, because again, earlier he was doing such a good job, I felt. Now he's just not quite getting that same situation in him. Field still working their way down around the track right now. Malcolm Burnaby has gained the gap up quite a bit on Bounty. You saw there was a slight hint there of maybe something from Bounty on the draft here from 47.50. But again, the fact is Burnaby just used his pit strategy call and his tires up perfectly and encapsulated a big run there where Bounty was not able to succeed at, and he knew it too. And I gotta believe Bounty right now is probably just looking on, realizing that that was probably his only shot now. He's going to have to use another good pit strategy call. But if he does not stay close there with Burnaby, he is not going to have any chance to maybe make something out of this. The gap now starting to spread themselves thin and spread themselves out. Everybody going to do whatever they can here to kind of keep things in their own lane. Gabe Chavez here coming off that win last time out. Strong showing today here as he's currently in 4th place and looking to make more of it. Maybe even have a little run at the 3rd place spot. Time running elapsing right now. Everything keeping within reach and within reason right now. Nobody giving an inch to the other here. Chavez trying to stay one step ahead there of Kelva and Cassad, but really not a whole lot they can really do here in this case. Kelva kind of looking on, knowing that Cassad was still trying to take him down a few spots there and take everything he could. But it has been pretty much an all or nothing showdown in a case to maintain. Christopher Cassad now is in pit road here, and now looks like he's going to try and take a step back into this one here with 24 laps left to go. Now, Burnaby went on lap number 17 and then pitted on lap 46. So that tells me that he had 23 laps that he ran that thing down in. So I assume here with the next 5 laps, you're going to see Burnaby and Bounty go into pit road Samuel Mitchell will definitely be keeping a close tab on Burnaby here in this strategy call. Mitchell again, been kind of a bit of a long shot today, but this has been one of the better times we've seen. Just kind of play in and kind of race it out from there. And you can hear again just when he gets into that throttle rhythm and that throttle control, having to then shift down in and around there, really making that work as quick as he can. Just tempering and tempoing everything perfectly. It's exactly what you got to do. Boundy keeping himself within reason, keeping himself within tab, but now he's going to have to go into pit road. Without a doubt, this has got to be his final stop here. He's going to try to break out quickly, try to get in there and in for the momentum. Samuel Mitchell and Malcolm Burnaby right now working their way down across the track and down into the lanes here. Burnaby looking to hopefully have a shot, have an opening here. And that strategy right there now pulled up on the lanes here. Lap 21 left to go here. We'll turn into 20 laps left. In this case, Burnaby trying to play this one to the end. Mitchell going to do much of the same. Now, this is where I was kind of interested to see earlier on what will be kind of come of these two strategies. These two major calls coming up. Burnaby and Mitchell in pit road. Chavez and Kelva staying out. Burnaby out of pit road. Can he beat Boundy out again? Boundy's coming up quick. Locked and loaded and horned up here trying to get this thing in. But Burnaby, with the presence of mind, did not get Boundy nearly enough time to catch him. Mitchell trying to get back out quickly and get back into this one here. Now comes the ultimate strategy call. What does Chavez and Kelva do? Do they go in now and get any last positions, any chances left to take this one away from those two hard runners? Chavez leads the way down right now. Kelva gone into pit road. I don't know what Chavez is kind of up to or thinking here. But whatever his strategy call is, I think he's trying to hope for a breather, kind of hope for a break, if you will. He went on lap number 39. I know he does not have enough fuel to get this one to the end, as much as I hate to tell him that. I like the hustle he was trying to think of, though, trying to maybe hope for a break. Maybe if someone spins out or gives him an opening. But unless something changes or I didn't see enough fuel in there, Burnaby right now has this one all but locked up. Bounty can't catch up to him with that draft. And he can't catch up to him with that extra lap tire that he got. Field distancing themselves out further and further along the ride here. It looks like Christopher Casado may be getting caught up to there by Samuel Mitchell. Pace thickening and quickening as they go along. Casado knows he's got to do everything he possibly can to try to hold the balance and try to hold the lanes down. Man, talk about a long, long, hard-fought road and race that each one of these drivers have put themselves into today. Truly a grit and determinating factor. Just trying to be able to hang in there for as long as you can. Try to keep this thing well within your own reach, your own realms. That go-getter style attitude and racing background these drivers bring to the table. They do quite a bit and everything they can in it. Chavez in the pit road with 16 laps left to go. Burnaby will now take the lead away as Gabe has relinquished it. Like I said, I knew he didn't have enough fuel or didn't have enough time in that tire set. You know, credit where credit's due to Chavez. He gave it everything he could and everything he had, but it just was not going to play out the way he wanted it to. Kind of a weird stat to put on Bounty here, but yeah, you can see right here, he's only led one whole lap. The next lap he got, it was Burnaby who just found a way around him and took that off of him. Malcolm has just been an absolute unit on the road and unit on the track right now. You know, out of pit road, Chavez actually didn't get that bad of a pit stop. He only lost a couple positions from it. He's currently in fourth now, but you can see he led 4 of the laps. And it really all boiled down to the fact that he stayed out and ran as long as he could. But sometimes that is just the true Trident formula call. So credit where credit's due to him for that. But again, it's not going to get him this race win unless all of a sudden something kind of goes on the back of Burnaby, Bounty, and Mitchell here, because that gap is just way too far off. And again, this car just does not have enough power to drive with it. Burnaby right now, again, just been running a tremendous race. Qualified in first. Started in first. Been holding... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, no. Well, this might have just been an old broadcaster curse I just threw down out there. I was just saying how well that number 1 has been doing. And this one, oh my word. Shoemaker and Nicholas getting into it there. Nicholas trying to back off, but unfortunately not able to do so. Oh, the tunnel turn of turn number 2 bites another one. Watch this again. Shoemaker trying to go to the inside. Nicholas way wide. And Shoemaker, in my opinion, probably just trying to drive the corner the way he's supposed to. But he overdrew it, and it went right in to a bad spot there. Oh my goodness, that is not going to vote well for anybody that went up pit road as early as they did or as late as they did. Now they have to make an extremely crucial decision here. Well, we know Nicholas is going to go to pit road. He's probably going to get that front end damage fixed up. But what will Burnaby, Bounty, and them do? That is going to be a very sacred call right here. Well, Bounty and Burnaby will go to pit road. Burnaby, Mitchell as well. Chavez, nope, I figured much. He's going to stay out. Kelva's going in. Chavez going to play a very, very lucrative strategy call here on lap 60 from lap 64 to this caution falling on 66. He feels he has enough to be able to hold this thing down and have a shot at it. Oh, man, it's going to be a very, very crucial call here. It looks like everybody taking tires and fuel down there. I mean, honestly, Burnaby had to. Bounty had to. Kelvin, Mitchell, same situation. But now this turns into less of a long run. And now that short run will come into full effect. Ultimately, though, which one is going to take the better of the other? Which one is going to figure out how to land the swinging blow? Gabe Chavez, again, going to go for a strategy call that, in my opinion, could either go two ways, either perfectly or horribly. I can't blame him for trying to do what he's going to do, but again, with that amount of tires difference as well as the fuel run, there's a lot of ways this can go right and this can go very wrong. Cassad staying out, Shriver going into pit road. Shoemaker and Chavez will be your two front runners. Now Shoemaker went on lap number 60. Chavez on 64. Advantage Chavez. But keep this in mind. Bounty, Burnaby, Mitchell, Kelva, and Cassad all went up pit road on lap 68. Cassad is coming back around on the track. I needed to clarify that. I didn't think he went into pit road, but he actually had already. This is a very, very crucial dilemma here. This restart will tell the tale for me, and I believe will kind of tell the tale for the end of this race. If they can avoid the major catastrophe in turn one like had happened on lap 1 and just stay focused on getting these tires rallied up, warmed up, and ready to go at it, that to me will be a very, very big dilemma to watch out for. What will happen with 10 laps left to go? Can those that took tires late make it work? Or will those that planned out a strategy and just had a lucky caution fall into their lap give them this race win? We're about to find out with 10 laps left to be completed. Down to the front straightaway here. It is now going to be showtime. Maybe for the last time. Green flag up. Big, big run out of the gate from Burnaby and Chavez. Shoemaker did not get off the line. Bounty got to be absolutely infuriated right now, realizing the situation at hand. And Burnaby going to take that tire set. Those extra laps did make a difference. Chavez, nowhere to go. Chavez won't give up that easily. He'll try to keep that draft on Burnaby, try to hold that lane down. Shoemaker doing a great job defending on the backside, keeping the others behind him in check, but he'll only be able to do it for 10 laps. Bounty, Kelva, Mitchell, all looking for him. He wasn't able to get it even for 1 lap in. Bounty found him. And Shoemaker, look at this, trying to drive back to the inside, making a big run forward. Mitchell trapped him up 3 wide off the front straightaway. First time they've gone 3 wide tonight. Cassad, Shoemaker, and Kelva cornering them down. Kelva trying to get back into the lane. Shoemaker lost all that ground in time. He only had defensive moves to be able to be used, and it did not work. Try as you might, it sometimes just isn't your night. Hey, Luke, yes, look out down there. What on earth is happening to the Miller Lite? That 84 all over the place as he gets it squared back up. That could have been very dangerous and costly there. Nicholas right now up on the Y high side here. Chavez falling further and further in disarray. He just can't seem to get this thing figured out. Get himself back in the lane and back in control. Bounty on the bottom. Throwing a haymaker to Chavez. Right there with him. Mitchell and Cassad desperately hoping to try to cling on to anything they can in this case. Malcolm right now leading it through. And again, that strategy call he made going into pit road was, in my opinion, the smart thing to do. An ingenious strategy play. But again, he knows Bounty is right there with him. He's not out of this one yet. He's got to hope and make sure that nothing else throws in his way or throws him into disrepair. Kelva hard charging that line off turn number 2 there. Almost slamming that wall protection up. We've seen a lot of drivers do that today in turn 2. And ironically, it's only been turn number 2 that's been getting a few of them in a bad spot, a bad position. Turn 1 did have a few bites earlier. Turn 3 has not. Turn 3 has been basically the passing lane today, which is very ironic because usually that's a corner that's very difficult to pass on and make a run on. But Burnaby found it earlier on Bounty, and a few of the other drivers have been doing much of the same. We do know earlier that Kelva had all his hands worked and cut out for him there when Cassada was making that move on the outside there too. Chavez right now looks like he's starting to kind of dictate the pace and moving this thing right back in place. He's got third place right now, but Mitchell looking to try to snatch that from him with 5 laps left to go. Time running out. Can Mitchell get this 8-bit racing machine into a better limelight? Got a big run there again. Same corner, turn 3. Chavez, though, he was up on the outside lane, forcing Mitchell to have to run the extreme bottom. It looks like the outside lane does have more speed up there. But how much of that wears and tears on the tires, I wonder. Now you can see the gap and how far they stretch out from one another there. Mitchell and Chavez having a great battle here, in my opinion, from the final laps of this race. Bounty's still trying to do everything he can to get to Burnaby, but I just don't think he's got enough time. Can Mitchell go back to the inside and make a run there on Chavez? Looks like he'll avoid it. He had some speed, but he closed it back down. Chavez realizing he can use the inside lane to his advantage and take that back into his own place. 3 laps are remaining. They can certainly dish it out as much as they can run it out here right now. The Citadel Next Gen's proving that this early morning race is not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of talent, as it takes skill to be able to perform at this level. The green flag up in the air. There's only 2 laps needed to be completed. Fans watching on as they see a great battle finaling up for the first spot. Chavez, Mitchell, and Cassad trying everything they can to try to one-up the other in the final last bit. But it is Burnaby who right at the moment is still just holding everything back in place, back on the drive. If he gets the white flag, this one is over with no matter what happens from here. Trying to hurry, he realizes he's got the golden shovel ready to put everyone back down into the gray. Burnaby has got the white flag in the air at long last. This was the flag he wanted to see. This is the flag he's been needing to see. Burnaby has led almost the entirety of this race, only losing out a couple of times. But it wasn't for a lack of his speed. It was a matter of the fact that he had to give it up to try to fight back. Down into the ends and through the final corners. And heading for home. They'll come down through turn number 3. Burnaby not has to worry about turn 4. He just needed turn 3, and that's all she wrote. Malcolm Burnaby is going to win here at Pocono. What a long, hard-fought race and a battle-off for all the drivers involved. Chavez barely able to keep Mitchell and Cassad at bay there and hold down that lane there for him. Bounty, well, I thought honestly may have had a pretty interesting game plan there in pit strategy. Fell just a little short. And Burnaby today just had sheer speed and power and used every ounce, every bit of it to his advantage. And he will walk off with a major, major win. He's only our third race winner of the season, and he's going to celebrate the best way you know how. While Burnaby celebrates this one here, let's take a look at our race results presented by the Dead Man's Hit List. Malcolm Burnaby finally going to get this monkey off his back, gets a win, and takes down Bounty at his own game. Sean Bounty goes second. Gabe Chavez, a solid performance, going third. Samuel Mitchell, a long, hard run, going fourth. Cassad, a good, solid top five for him and his team. Kelva fighting and scratching, clawing for everything he had, but only will walk away with sixth. Shoemaker getting himself into a little bit of trouble here and there, but goes seventh. Nicholas Shriver getting himself into more trouble than he wanted to on that last bit. There goes eighth. Dietz going ninth. Hayes will go 10th, rounding out your top 10 for this one. What a long, long battle it was, and a grueling warfare of words and speed came into play. It's time to take a listen now to our top three drivers here, as we now are joined by Gabe Chavez here coming in third today. And Gabe, obviously very tough road to have to deal with, a very tough battle, but nevertheless, you kept your head up high and finishing yourself in third place here. I mean, I got to believe this one is very pleasing for you and your team, considering the win you got last time out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm really surprised here. I was able to keep it on track, and gosh, the guys in front were just so fast. I tried to on the restart, keep it for a little bit, keep the lead, but they were quick, and they got around quick, but it was some good racing at the end too. It was good stuff. I'm super happy.
Super happy indeed. Now, obviously, I know this was quite a bit of a drive and a bit of a shootout here for you on that last run there. I mean, obviously, I know you didn't want to go back on a pit road if you didn't have to, but talk me through kind of that call there when all of a sudden you kind of had to try to figure out either hold Burnaby down or try to, in this case, kind of get whatever you could left of that speed there.
Yeah, I thought about pitting sort of towards the end. There was a late caution, but I don't know. I guess I thought track position would be more important, and I had pit not too many laps before, so I thought I had the tires, and I'm gonna say I did. I think it was just driver ability. If I was able to drive the track a little bit better, I could have been a little bit closer. But I mean, finishing 4 seconds behind the leaders is not uh, nothing I'm upset about. I think that's pretty good considering how good Sean and Malcolm are.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Gabe, obviously a very tough road you have to grind down through here in Pocono, but you show with great grit and determination it could be done. You finished third. Who are we thinking today?
It's got to be my family. I'm just so supportive, and I wouldn't be able to do this without them.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Gabe, we do appreciate coming on board. Congratulations getting it done here for a third place finish.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Gabe Chavez, race fans, going in third today here. This man usually in the top echelon of the totem pole, but today he'll have to settle down for a second place finish here, but not a bad second by any means there, Bounty. Obviously, you had a long road ahead of you, had to drive this thing down the ground, and pretty much had to do everything you could to keep Burnaby at bay, but in this case, he just kind of caught you off a few lanes there, didn't he?
Race went pretty much exactly how I expected it to. As I was kind of alluding to a little bit in the beginning, where I was just going to be patient and see if I can wait for him to make a mistake. It's basically the only way I beat him in the other races, just one little slip up. And if he doesn't do that, then you usually got this in the bag. This was one of those times. And I did an early pit stop partway through the race, and just to see if I can overlap him to get like a point for so just some bonus points for leading a lap, and then I figured he'd pass by me eventually. Beyond that, the last caution was a nice second chance, but then we just got just bottled up and trapped behind them guys a little bit too long, and but it kind of ended how it should have anyway.
Certainly, indeed. Now, obviously, Sean, that last caution that comes out here kind of threw things for a loop. But there was a time there, though, that you ended up getting ahead there, Malcolm, and actually led a lap there for a bit. I mean, talk me through, like, kind of what you were feeling when all of a sudden, yeah, that little bit of that extra speed there and power there off turn number 3 that caught you off guard.
Well, yeah, that was a plan. Just to get a couple laps in, I figured he passed me back up. Uh, that was kind of going as expected. Just the only thing that was kind of throwing me off is he was running 1 to 2 lanes higher than me in the third big sweeping flat corner, and those big high speed flat corners has always been one of my big issues. And I kept moving lanes around, trying to figure out what he was doing, but somehow he was able to put the power down and just keep turning. And no matter what I tried all race long, if I put it down, I'd going tight up into the wall. If I tried to turn, it just wasn't doing anything. So I had to stay about a lane lower than him, get some fresh air, and I don't know. uh, he's got some extra grip in those tires, but I could not figure out for the life of me how he's just able to keep turning with that much speed, that much higher up the track.
Well, in this case, he seemed to have kind of figured it out and dialed it up to a top notch here to be able to take you down today. But you're still going to go second place today. Who are we thinking here, Mr. Bounty Hunter?
I just appreciate everybody that showed up and for you guys broadcasting this race. Just having a good time. It's been a long time since I've been to some of these tracks, and it's good to run through the circuit and watching a lot of these guys. They haven't been racing very much, and I'm seeing a lot of improvement. It's really cool. So hopefully between me and Malcolm and a few other guys. I know Sam's pretty close, but halfway through runs, he'll drop off, and I think we can get him some long run speed up in the future. But enjoying watching these guys, slowly getting better, getting faster, and it's pretty cool.
For sure, there. Whenever, Sean, we do appreciate coming on board here today. Congratulations, getting it done here to second place today.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Bounty Hunter, Bounty Gun, a little chat with us here as we now chat with the race winner. He has joined us here in Victory Lane, race fans, driver of the number 1, Malcolm Burnaby. And Malcolm, whoo, oh my word, good sir, you found the winning formula. You not only escaped numerous times having to do with the pit strategies, but also managed to stay away from that caution fiasco there and take this one away from everyone else. I mean, talk to me what you be feeling there inside that cockpit right now.
Yeah, obviously feels great to roll out of bed and go basically wire to wire to get a win, especially first win here, so that's always fun. Um, I mean, I think I said this pretty much every time I get in the booth, but the strategy in these cars just try to stay out front and not get in the dirty air. So we put it on pole and accomplished that early, and then even when Sean, got close, it was really hard for him to make a move. I noticed a lot of guys were running a lot lower on turn 3, which I thought was slower, and seems like that was the only corner I was better in against Sean. But yeah, it was a good race. The pitch strategy worked well. When I saw Sean go in pretty early on that first cycle, kind of started to worry a little bit. And then as I was looking at the relative, I saw that it wasn't really moving that much, even with me on old tires. But um, yeah, seems like everyone was pretty much on the same strategy: go pit and take 2 right side tires, because we were all on, I think we are on like 55 lap old tires on the left side before that last caution came out. So yeah, it was a good win, and yeah, just happy to kind of put it on pole and stay up front the whole race, and it worked out.
Absolutely, indeed. Obviously, I know this was definitely kind of I kind of kept saying, obviously, this is a very endurance heavy race, kind of really testing not only the grit of your machines, but also the power of yourselves and being able to hold out for as long as you had to. I mean, this is probably, if anything, got to be one of the better wins you've had, considering you just basically outraced everybody, including even that old bounty hunter, which a couple of weeks ago did kind of get the better of you there. I mean, what kind of now is going to be in the crux for the rest of the season in your mind?
Yeah. So coming into the race, I was just a couple points outside the cut line. Just haven't been able to make all of them, but I mean, the goal now is to just stay ahead of that cut line, and then see what happens comes playoff time, and try to give that 34 a run for his money. It's going to be tough, but I got a couple tracks that I feel pretty good at. So that's pretty much the goal. Just keep accruing points and give myself a chance come playoff time.
For sure there. Well, nevertheless, Malcolm, obviously you couldn't have done this alone here. I got to believe there's some folks that helped get you to victory lane today and help kept you really keep that mentality strong as can be to be confident to do it. Who are we thinking today?
Yeah, first off, our fearless leader, but non-punctual Joe Chacon for bringing us into Citadel. Sam, teammate, he was in the race today. Was really great for the mental. Just talking back and forth with him, and he's like, "Hey man, like you can win this. You just gotta not make your mistake." And I'm like, "Yep, yep." And it's really hard for anyone to pass, so that's what I did. So shout out those guys, and yeah, man, just happy to find victory lane finally.
For sure there. Well, Malcolm, you definitely have earned this one. I know it's been a long time coming, but nevertheless, congratulations. Finally getting it done here at Pocono today.
Thank you, sir.
Race fans, Malcolm Burnaby gonna get it done and take a trip down to victory lane here in Pocono. Well, we are done with this one here, race fans. It's been an honor and a pleasure. We hope you've enjoyed it. Until the green flag is flying high next time, take care of yourselves and be safe out there.